Hey guys, here, welcome to the GTA 5 Car v Car episode. Today we have the Zentorno going against Entity. Later today we'll have the Zentorno going against Ada. Now this one's interesting because both these cars are sort of similar to each other, but at the same time they have ups and downs as well, where we'll see which one benefits the most in certain situations, of course, especially in racing, as most of the time the Entity sort of dominates in the racing scene. As mentioned in the previous Car v Car against the Turismo, the Zentorno pretty much smashed that. And I did mention a little bit about the Entity as well. Here's the thing with the Entity, it's absolutely amazing around sharp corners, and it's so fluent and smooth and so crisp that literally takes no effort to weave through these corners. So as you'd expect, the fast lap came from the Entity. No matter how hard I tried with the Zentorno, it was pretty difficult to keep up with these lap times. The best lap time was recorded with Entity, even though there was a slight dodgy second turn, if you saw from the lap sort of bumping in and out. So even with all of that, Entity still is so superior around these corners. But here's the thing, man. When it comes to a straight, the Zentorno will absolutely destroy the Entity. Now, obviously this is track dependent, and you gotta worry about what track you play. Now, if there's tracks that are consisted of a little bit of straights and a little bit of corners, sort of balanced out together, then I'd suggest you use the Zentorno. But if there's just tracks, if there's a track where it's continuous curves and bending left, right, center, then of course the Entity will be your best choice, because the Zentorno's acceleration pretty much dominates every single supercar in the list. So you see that 1 minute 46 seconds for the Entity and 1 minute 47, as we know, for the Zentorno. So anyway, customization, the usual. Zentorno's got slightly more customization compared to the Entity. However, the Entity still has skirt spoilers, bumpers, but there's just a little bit more variety with the Zentorno, as you'd expect from a DLC car. And when you compare the looks between both these cars, you can just sort of see the little effort gone into the Entity. There's not much in it really, so it sort of does look weird when more and more DLC cars get released. At first when you play this game and you see the Entity, you're like, wow, it's fucking amazing. But then you actually realize there's nothing special, it's just a simple design. But it's one of the fastest cars, but now it's got definite competition. See here, the top speed. This is interesting. I thought this was going to be another sort of Turismo scenario, but it was not the case. Every single time we tried to test the top speed, literally the Zentorno kept going. It just kept going and kept getting away against the Entity. We tried this a couple times, again and again, and Entity could not catch up at any given point. So pretty much top speed goes to the Zentorno, even though it states that the Entity is somewhat faster. So that's baffling. As I say, time and time again, the stats are pretty weird. Definitely weird. This line was absolutely dirty, sort of destroyed the Entity there with that disgusting line. But anyway, definitely do not believe the stats. It's all about the driver and the car. If the driver knows how to use the car, then it's pretty much it. Even though that sounds a bit contradicting, because on that straight there's nothing anyone can do if they were to be using that Entity. Obviously acceleration, again obviously the point goes towards the Zentorno. But yeah, man, the handling, of course, quite straightforward. Definitely going towards the Entity there. See the sort of quick response time around these corners at high speeds to get these awesome lap times around these corners. It's just ridiculous how just responsive this is at high speeds. Amazing. Zentorno, it was just about second behind, not even second behind, 0.7 seconds I believe. I'm not sure, but it was pretty close to the Entity. It definitely did put in work, but it's obviously a struggle compared to the Entity, so is what it is. Currently 3-2 is pretty much the final score. You know, pretty much what won it for the Zentorno was the acceleration, which is key, which is key around corners, depending on how well you take it. Unfortunately, in that particular track, Entity pretty much dominated because majority of that was just corners. But yeah, it's very track dependent, but at the same time, it's also one of the things where if a good driver can dominate with the Zentorno, he will always be a good driver in an Entity. That is pretty much the summary here today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. And yeah, stay tuned for the adder against the Zentorno. I'll see you guys there. Shaggy is now. Good night, peace. Yeah! Oh, if you guys missed out the previous episode, Turismo goes against the Zentorno. Annotation on the screen will take you straight to the video. And I'll see you guys there.